additional resources, realizing best case scenario is you're probably just getting the dueling dragon. So an aggressive landing from the float, Paul just goes up, immediately right back down, and Lazra forced to respect it.
You see SOT step up to wave. Should be fine, though. I don't think Haddix is going to try and go any further than just clearing out his own wave at this point. And we've seen the pressure that Laz has been putting on the right side. Went for a second blue buff invade earlier on. Do you imagine that for the next 5 or so minutes of this game, that's just what Lazberg continues to do, is just to keep the pressure up on SOT?
I suppose. It depends on what SOT can farm up and how quickly he gets this second item. Now that he's got the Warlock staff, his damage output's getting a little bit higher, Kraken available. I'll keep my eyes on layers. If this Osiris starts making the rotations, those invades won't be nearly as simple. You've already got the Golden Blade, Mannequin, so there's early presence from this Osiris. I think SOT has weathered the storm early on. I don't imagine there's going to be too much more opportunity on that side.
Jake rotates over. Eagles Rally available to Cyclone. He'll get plucked back, rooted in place, but still holding on to his ultimate. And we'll hold on to it the entire way. Won't even need it to get back to the safety of the tower. Patient play out of Cyclone in the dual lane keeps him, not just his relics, but also make sure to keep it. Wait, did he go teleport actually?
Oh, he sure did.
Ah,
yeah, he's just farming up. He wants to be able to throw his damage into Barracuda, trade his HP back to base, and do it all over again. Awesome Jake, not going to make that easy for him though by hovering around this lane. And I suppose this could be a great answer to the Bologna ADC. If she's going to win the 1v1, don't give her one.
True. Don't let the bully win those battles. Aurora will show up to alleviate some of that pressure up against Cyclone, though. Won't let him have to sit under his tier 1 tower the entire time through, and that will force Jake to maybe either stick around a little bit longer or rotate towards one of these other lanes. But with purple buff coming back up, it's an easy call for the bolts to farm that. Hey, SOT able to get one of his own blue buffs thanks to the help of his jungler. Layers rotated over and made sure that SOT wasn't starving for mana the entirety of the game.
Yeah, it only took 7 minutes for him to get him his second blue buff, but SOT better late than never. Should get some additional CDR, wave clear. We're starting to get to that point where he's able to just rotate out. We saw it, clears the wave, heads back to the jungle, splits some more with layers. SOT certainly absorbing a lot of farm. Cyclone Spin absorbing a lot of damage, but they're going to have to prove it, the Olympus Bulls, that they've got kill potential, because Cyclone's going to hold on.
Gets away from the dueling dragons out of Paul. Awesome Jake still standing a little far up, but Cyclone undeterred in this 2v1, buying so much time for his team to rotate over and even keep Lazbra from going for a purple buff invade. So the Tartarus Titans down, at least for now, about almost 2,000 gold down at this point, but still willing to show presence across the map.
Experience has been upticking at times for the Olympus Bulls. The Tartarus Titans have largely stagnated that there as well. The Bolts going to need to try and put some pressure on a neutral objective or one of these towers if they want to leverage the lead early on. Gold Fury is so tanky at this point that you're not really looking towards it. So invades gotta be the only place the Olympus Bolts can continually push this lead until Pyromancer spawns back up. But fortunately for the Bolts, getting the late game just feels nice. You've got a Cthulhu in your team fight. Morgan, who's pretty slow early on, will start to speed herself up, get a lot more damage output as the game goes on. Barracuda can just split push. We've seen exactly how Chernobog plays around Fire Giant. It's that he doesn't. He plays in the dual lane and maybe comes to the Fire Giant if the fight starts to look good or bad. So the Tartarus Titans, I think, probably feeling the pressure. I know that the lead hasn't extended since those first 2 kills on SOT, but this is not how you'd expect the Tartarus Titans to start this game with this type of composition.
And that was some of the concerns that Charlie was showing us, even that Dave was showing at points, was, you know, how do the Titans deal with not just one Cthulhu in Haddix, who's got somewhat of a lead that's been mitigated down by SOT, but the potential of there being a second Cthulhu if Venenu transforms into that, or a second Chernobog. I mean, how do the Titans even deal with something like that in a team fight with this comp?
Man, it's not easy. I think it's got to be an avoidant, right? Oh man, there's Cthulhu. I'm gonna leave, and you've got the ability to do so. Paul very safe, SOT very fast, Aurora pretty mobile as well in this Kumbhakarna. It's not the best case scenario, right? Like, if the Olympus Bolts have double Cthulhu on the map, you're essentially just forcing the Tartarus Titans to retreat. They're probably taking damage. Charlie highlighted how good the chase down potential of Descent into Madness is. But I don't see how this composition is going to burn through 1, let alone 2 Cthulhus. You don't have a standard Hunter. Cyclone Spin going to struggle to close gap. SOT sure has a whole lot of single target damage, but he's got a shotgun blast you to do it. He's got to get right in your face, and I'm not certain Poseidon's looking to do that. Maybe he is, though, with this style of build, going a little bruiser.
Yeah, I just noticed that he's going to Genji's guard's second item. We'll have to see if he continues going down that bruiser route. Trebuchet in the mid lane will give the Bolts a little bit of pressure on this mid-tier 1 tower. And then Jake and Haddix can just stand around here and face tank any damage that gets thrown out by the bolts. Jake will dash away from the fire from Paul, but this tier 1 tower is just slowly getting chipped away.
50% already, and that's just the Trebuchet putting in some work. The Tartarus Titans don't really have an opportunity to step up and deal with it. Layers could make short work of the Trebuchet, but he can't just walk past the bolts. Wishful ultimate from Paul.
Kraken from SOT clips Lasbra, and that's going to put him.
One-shot potential that Ben's going to have late game, but with already on the Genji's guard, maybe some more bruiser options as well, I think he's got a bit more flexibility than you might initially imagine from a Poseidon solo. That's not to say that beads would be bad. I think they are just blanket good. There's a reason literally every role buys it in Smite, but he might have a little bit more flexibility.
But we'll be going for those beads, so maybe a little bit worried about what can chase him down, what can lock him down. So maybe a little bit of a better safe than sorry for SOT in this case, but